Yes guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. I am Adam and I am absolutely fucking gutted. Yes, you heard it right. Manchester United have drawn 2-2 with Southampton. And I know it's me being an old pessimist and this, that and the other, but I could just feel it coming. I could really feel that draw coming today. During the watch along, during the paddock stream, I said at 1-0 down, don't worry, we'll come back, we'll get the goals and we'll win this. But as the game was going on, you could feel the momentum, you could feel the energy just shift, the decisions that were being made for United in terms of the substitutions. And whilst I understood Pogba coming off, I understood Bruno coming off, combine that with then having Luke Shaw go off with an injury, have Brandon Williams, who was Luke Shaw's replacement, go off with an injury, meaning that one of your subs is unused, meaning that you're down to 10 men. I think it just all culminated in Manchester United conceding that goal and that negative vibe around it all. Like I said, I could just feel that goal coming. I could feel Southampton were going to do something to us today. And I don't know whether that's because we were given an insight into third, we were given that opening and then we let it go, or whether it's just because we've been scarred so much in the past with Man United, every time it feels like we've turned a corner, we managed to find ourselves back to square one again. Now, I've been looking at the comments on Stretford Paddock, on Steve's live stream, on my channel, on the Discord for members, and some people feel that this is back to square one again. And actually, I don't think that's the case at all. Look, whether Ole is going to bring us trophies or not, that's still questionable. But actually, under this Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era and with this team, I actually feel like the team is well prepared and well set up to bounce back from setbacks. I actually feel like we will see a reaction to that. And I actually feel like we'll go into the Crystal Palace game next, looking to right our wrongs and with a better mentality and a better approach to the game. But today, it just wasn't good enough and there was mistakes made all over the field. Now, us pointing out mistakes doesn't mean, oh, get rid of the manager and get rid of these players and all that stuff. Footballers make mistakes, it's going to happen. But these mistakes really cost us today. The first notable mistake is Paul Pogba on the edge of his box. He picks up the ball from David De Gea. Now, one, I don't know whether David De Gea should be talking to him and saying, yo, man on your back. But two, Pogba should know there's men coming from behind him because one, it's like a car, if you reverse, you know where the people are coming from. It's from fucking behind you. He knew someone was going to be coming there. He didn't check and he also wasn't strong enough to hold. We normally see Pogba just hold players off with ease, with his back, with his strength. And he didn't do that. He turned and lost the ball. Southampton had the initiative, had the ball. They played well and they got the goal from that. And at 1-0, you're thinking, oh, here we go. But actually, we showed a reaction. We showed something and we were sparked back into life. Martial and Rashford were playing really well. Martial, who's my man of the match today, got a goal and an assist. And you look at his assist for Marcus Rashford, it's exactly what we want to see from him. He's becoming more complete as a number 9. We saw it in the Aston Villa game when he didn't get a goal. We've seen it against Sheffield United when he got a hat-trick. And we've seen it today. He got a goal and an assist, and his all-round performance again was there. We've seen a massive improvement in Anthony Martial over the last couple of weeks, last couple of months, and that continued here today. The touch to bring the ball into his feet, the strength to hold the defender off him who fell on his arse, and then the ability to find the pass to Marcus Rashford was fantastic. And Rashford's finish was excellent as well. His first goal from open play since the return and since that back injury. So he moved to 21 goals and United was straight back into it. And then a couple of minutes later, Anthony Martial, Toto, typical Toto goal, cuts in, bangs it in the corner. 2-1, you're thinking, yes, lads, we're absolutely back into this. We've got where we wanted. Let's finish this off now. But we just couldn't get that third goal. The third goal would have seen them finished off. Romeu potentially could have got sent off in the first half. The referee didn't send him off. But I feel like that's looking for excuses that aren't really there because still in the second half, we were 2-1 up. We had the opportunities to make it 3-1, 4-1. We didn't take it. A great 1-2 between Anthony Martial and Rashford to link up. Rashford should have scored. Great clearance by the defender, but I don't want to hear that. When you're a striker 3 yards out and the ball comes to your feet, you're expecting to score and he didn't. And looking at that partnership between Martial and Rashford, no Premier League partnership has created or got more goals between them than those two ever. They're creating a really positive partnership at the moment. But again, there's those little things that you got to get right. And it shows you how Rashford and Martial can get from 20, 21 goals a season to 30, 35 goals a season by taking them real poachers' chances, which Martial has been improving to do, and I'm sure Rashford could do that. But Rashford's all-round play, I think, since the break and since his injury, has been a lot better. We're seeing a player that's looking to create. We're seeing a player that's looking to make things happen. And another player who I think has improved recently in the last couple of weeks is Luke Shaw. And unfortunately, he went off injured. He created a goal which was ruled off for offside for Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford should have held his line. At that point, it would have been 1-1, but that would have been an extra goal in the first half. And Luke Shaw has really made positive strides. He's making better movements going forward. So it was just his luck that he would turn his ankle. Now I hope it's not that injured. I hope it's not a massive issue for him going forward. And obviously Brandon Williams comes in, he gets concussed. Now you'd expect, the recovery is not going to be as long as an ankle problem, but there's still guidelines you have to be within. I don't think now he can play for 7 to 14 days if he is concussed. So that's another issue again. And look, at 10 men, it was always going to be difficult. We were backs against the wall against a very good Hasenhüttl side, and it was a set piece and an individual error that undid it all at the end. But on 18 games unbeaten, I'm not going to come out here now after we've closed the gap to like 1 point and all this stuff and start laying into the manager and laying into the players and laying into this, that and the other. Ultimately, these results happen. These results happen. It's how you respond. It's how you react. Are you Champions League worthy? Are you Manchester United worthy? How many times did Sir Alex Ferguson, after a game that United had lost, say, well, actually, United will lose games, but we won't lose 2 games on a row. We won't drop, points in 2 games in a row, because we'll have a reaction and we'll come back into it and we'll get a result. And that has to be the challenge. Ollie's been great at challenging his players and not allowing them to get complacent. But I believe today they got complacent, and maybe he even got complacent himself. 60 minutes, taking off Bruno and Pogba. Do you really do that? At 2-2, when we had a minute or 2 left to really go for it, we didn't have anyone on the pitch to really do anything with it. So you have to ask whether, Ollie took it a little bit lightly today. The players took it a little bit lightly today. Maybe the pressure got to them, I don't know. But if the pressure's going to get to you fighting for 3rd spot, then you really shouldn't be at Man United. And if you can't beat the teams that are coming up, the Crystal Palaces, the West Ham, Leicester, then you don't deserve to be in the Champions League anyway, because what's going to happen when you come up against some real sides in there? So, yes, I'm massively disappointed. Yes, it's a real sucker punch and it's a real body blow for United fans. But also, it's football. And also, it's kind of like odds. Eventually we were going to drop points at some point. Eventually, the performance wasn't going to be as great. But now we've got to react. 3 games left. It's all still in our own hands. Win those 3 games, you get Champions League football. But this is going to have been a setback for those players. It's going to have been a boost to Leicester and Chelsea's players. But still, their fixtures are difficult. Our fixtures on paper are a little bit easier. But if we go into those games against Palace and West Ham like we did today, even with Hodgson and Moyes as their managers, they will turn us over. So we need to be at it. Fingers crossed, Brandon Williams, Luke Shaw, they're back soon and they're available. Or at least one of them, because I don't know who's going to play there. Could we see Ethan Laird come in the mix? Could we see Diogo Dalot play there? There's obviously a number of options that we could have at fullback, but it's not ideal if your first choice 2 are out. So hopefully those guys will be back soon. Hopefully Pogba and Bruno will be back in form. Massive mistake by Paul Pogba today. On a day when we really needed him to dig us out and help us with his performance, makes that mistake. And look, some people will say, well, actually he didn't do too badly after that. And he didn't. But Paul Pogba's got higher standards than that, so we should have higher standards for Paul Pogba as well. And that wasn't good enough. It's the first performance, though, I've really felt that way about United since the break. I thought we should have beat Tottenham, but it was the first game back. Since then, we've done all right. So, look, I'm not going to go nuts. I'm not going to start crying and all that. But it is one of those ones. It's one of those ones. So let's bounce back, win against Crystal Palace, and we'll all be feeling happy as Larry again. To all those people that joined us on the watch along on Stretford Paddock today, thank you very much. And if you're thinking, what the fuck Stretford Paddock, Matt? What are you talking about happened to full-time Devils? Well, it is Devils, it is Paddock, it's all the fucking same thing. Just subscribe, the link's in the description below, except we're now back better than ever. So, head over to the watch along. We had loads in there today, seeing us moaning at the end, but they're always good fun. The fan cams are up, we have daily content, daily news videos, great podcasts, Tier 1 transfer podcasts, uncensored with me and Steve. Loads of great content over there. So the link's in the description below. Subscribe to that. Subscribe to AdamMcKola TV. Like, comment, share. United are still 5th. And I'm out of here.